From the AFL live side at Federation Square, hello everyone, Matt Thompson here with Thursday's footy news on afl.com.au. We'll get to the grand final build-up in just a moment, but the big breaking story today is the signature of Travis Cloke, and finally, it's gone Collingwood's way. Cloke has signed a 5-year deal to stay at the Magpies. Also signing today, Harry O'Brien, a 2-year deal. The big question now is where this leaves Sharrod Wellingham. Let's hear from Collingwood's football director, Jeff Walsh, speaking just a short time ago.
Not all players get 5-year deals, I understand that. But we're happy to back Trav in that he'll still be performing at the levels that put him in the upper echelon of the competition in 5 years' time. Well, I think I've said right from, as I said earlier, this deal or this negotiation has been going on for a while. And I know I was on record saying right up front that no one player's deal will mean someone else is going to be forced out. The model that we started working on, pleasingly, is one that we've been able to maintain. So, by Travis signing or by any other player signing is not in any way, shape or form meaning that another player is going to be forced out.
To grand final news, and thousands turned out to see the Hawks, and all eyes were on skipper Luke Hodge. He trained well and the club is happy with his recovery from gastro.
Hodgie's had a good week on the track. He was back out training with us on Monday, and he's prepared in the same manner that everybody else has, so his preparation's been very good.
But with Hodge returning, someone has to miss.
After training, match committee, and we'll finalise selection then. So, there'll be an unlucky person for Luke to come in. There's always unlucky people at grand final time. The strength of our team this year has been our squad. And not just the bloke who misses out this week, but the other 6 or 7 players who have trained on. It's going to be terribly disappointing for them too, but they've helped us get there and been an important part of what we've done.
Sydney, on the other hand, seems certain to go in with an unchanged lineup, and they are not concerned about the damp conditions likely to confront them at the MCG on Saturday.
Oh, I think it's just the team that adjusts quicker. I think certainly even if it's dry conditions, it's the team that settles well early, gets a bit of a jump on the opposition. So we think we're adept in wet weather and any conditions. So I guess they're a really good kicking side. So wet weather conditions might be a disadvantage for them as well. I did my rain dance early on this week, so I'm looking forward to getting down and playing in a pretty cold, wet Melbourne. But no, it doesn't matter if it snows on grand final day. They still hand out a premiership cup and they still hand out 22 medals. So we'll be certainly wanting to be on the winning side.
I think they've had the opposite. They've made it through to the grand final because they play well in all conditions. I'm not going to be so naive to think that a bit of rain or a bit of wind is going to help me. We're playing against good players here, and we're going out there for a fierce contest, whatever the conditions are, and I'd imagine that they'll have the same attitude.
Now, a few concerns about the grand final parade. We're expecting hail over the next couple of days here in Melbourne. The league chief partying with Temper Trap today at the MCG as they got ready for the big half-time show at the MCG on Saturday. Andrew Demetriou, just a little bit worried about the weather.
I've got the weather app on my iPad, but the problem is it keeps draining my battery. We'll all be watching the weather tonight. Obviously, if the rain's too heavy and there's hail, then that makes the parade difficult to proceed, but pretty hard in a Toyota Hilux to put a roof on it overnight, I can tell you. The option is if it was too heavy, then you couldn't have the players out in the parade. But we're not even thinking about that. We're thinking about a parade proceeding because we want everybody to celebrate the players and also the players to enjoy it.
All right, still on the grand final theme, and you would have heard in the news, Swan Street been renamed Hawk Street by some pranksters overnight. We've managed to track them down. They also tried to rename the Swan Hotel. That didn't really work, as we can see the sign pulled down there. We also caught up with the mayor today, but let's begin with the pranksters themselves. They spoke to us on the condition that they remained anonymous.
Well, back in 2008, we started the tradition. We put a sign up on the Geelong Road reminding Geelong of their recent history against the Hawthorn Football Club. It seemed to give Hawthorn the mental edge. So this year we thought we'd take a stance against the un-Victorianism of some of our local supporters. We think that all Victorians should be barracking for Hawthorn against the northern invaders. So we thought Swan Street is just simply un-Victorian. We did it as normal council workers would. We had the high-vis vests on. We had one person doing the work, 3 people watching. And about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, the job's done.
Yeah, we need to take a fairly relaxed attitude about it. I actually think that probably there's a fair number of people in Richmond who probably more identify with the old South Melbourne Swans, good working class areas, both of them, formerly at least, compared to those Silvertails over the river there in Hawthorn. But, look, we can be big-hearted about it.
I think we've provided a bit of a community service here, providing much better entertainment than Meatloaf at last year's grand final. So, Andrew, if you're listening, please send a cheque in the mail.
Now, just before we go back here at Federation Square, on the contract theme, Brendon Goddard today, he doesn't want to talk about his future. Happy to sign autographs for kids, but when we approached him for a chat, well, we got turned away. G'day, Brendon. How you going? How's things? It's always good signing autographs for the kids, isn't it? We're not allowed to just ask him a couple of questions?
No chat. Sorry, mate. He's not doing any media at the moment.
And that is our report from here at Federation Square. Of course, this place will be buzzing tomorrow. Fingers crossed the weather holds out for the Grand Final Street Parade. Keep clicking back for more Grand Final news as it happens.